Who of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want to truly succeed in attaining all in that which is your need? To be heard by the real answerer of all deeds, the true hero of all whom pleads. Who of you really want to bow down to the true King of Kings commanding the crown? To worship the one that ever rules alone, commanding everything of creation from the seat of its throne.
Moment, well, maybe in the continuation of this discussion. Lord, continue with
yeah, you know, but it's pathetic that we would get so locked into these things, man, because you know, a lot of things happen to us. We bring on it upon ourselves because we refuse to acknowledge the realness of the Lord El.
Well, yes, definitely.
And we go to church and everything, and the various houses of worship, places of worship, but we still not trying to reach the Lord El. We always trying to reach something other than it.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And we could come right out of our places of worship and have that meanness in our heart, in the attitude, and not try to understand why we're not changing because we become content with our conditions.
Well, A.H.A.D says it best in the Quran when it said that the people take their religion for a sport and a pastime.
Yeah.
Our way of life that we call religion, we relegate it to we got a few hours in the houses of worship. But at the same time, my game is on when I get home.
Mm-hmm.
So what spirit of real change can really impact them as an individual to truly worship the Lord, because they don't see the Lord El in the sports itself.
Yeah.
The players who go into those zones they speak about, it's really El, the force of life or the force of being who move them. And those who truly recognize, like the brother Abdul Rauf, for example, who recognized Allah in the sport when they castigated him.
Right.
I can't worship with you. I'm going to stay in the tunnel when you do that.
And he was doing it respectively.
Right, he wasn't right. He
That
wasn't
was
going out of...
appalled at that they would do that. They would pull him out. A reporter using his so-called First Amendment rights that this Constitution gives him to abuse this man's First Amendment rights.
Right.
How hypocritical that is.
Right. Well, that's the way they operate. Like they say, you could be what you want to be, and then they say, well, we could be what we want to be to get you for being what you want to be. You know, so that thing about being free in this nation is a lie. You know.
And our people don't need to realize it. And it goes back to what you've always given from A.H.A.D to us, Holy Apostle, is that how in the education, how you can see people's lives being handicapped through by not being educated. So like you said, all the teams win, but the people lose because they're not educated, because they made that game the most important thing to them in their life. That's their God.
That's their
and
God.
I worship that.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you say our team lost, I'm like, wait a minute, you really have stock in the team?
Yeah, you see people running around here telling me, oh, we lost, man.
I'm like,
That's why I get stop my boys from that stuff. You bringing some money home from that team?
Right.
You know, I don't see this house getting fixed up any better than what it is. You talking about you part owner? We who? Johns, you brought me what shirt to wear? Better get that stuff out of here. I'm not advertising for them. Get them things off out of here. I hate to see my young boys wearing clothes with people's names on it. You know, you get a shirt and give it to me, you better put my name on it. And I tell you, I ain't wearing that because I don't want everybody to know who I am.
You know,
Right.
it's something about religion.
Yeah.
Way of life, you know. I had an experience today, and I really think that people try to have a life outside of their own life. You know, if you busy yourself with you as an individual, I think that take up all the time you have on a daily basis. But you have other people, they have no interest they have no interest in a person's life until that person is trying to walk right. Then they come with the interest. You know, are you following Holy Apostle? Now, before a person could be on drugs, they could be half out of their damn mind, walking down the street half naked, robbing, almost going to jail, a whole 9 yards. But once they say, wait a minute, let me see, let me try this, and they go and they listen to what Aisha sends down to us, and they try to apply it, and Aisha start raising them up. Then here come the concerns. Where the hell was the concern when they was out there doing everything else? I think that that's just the devil in the flesh. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, they got enough ills of their own they need to deal with. Then they don't even want to deal with their own family, their own children they gave birth to. They want to go and mess with somebody else's child. You know what I'm saying? I can see it's the parent concern. And sometimes the parent concern, you looking at them because they ain't did what they were supposed to do as a parent. You understand what I'm saying? It's nothing but because I experienced it. You know, before I accepted Islam, when my life was going straight to hell, downhill, you know, one day I actually woke up and said, damn, I'm laughing with the devil. You know, and nobody had a problem with that. You know, it was like, come on, let's do this. You know, all family members, no, not, you know, let's do this, let's do that, let's do this. And I'm, you know, traveling life with all this confusion going on because when Aisha is trying to get a message to you, it caused you to have all this confusion and turmoil. And when I stopped and said, wait a minute, and I said, let me try this here, you know, and I start going to the library and start reading on Islam and, you know, start getting the books and everything and fell in love with Islam and said, this is it. This is it for me. People had all kinds of problems. I mean, first thing they come with gifts, you know, and show of love and appreciation. First they tried to take the soft side first. Then here come the abuse. You know what I'm saying? But where were you when I was almost out of my damn mind? You know, they're not there then, you know, and it's sad. It's really sickening to see how much people, that word love is really empty.
Well, you know, what we need to remember as a people, as human beings, is that the devil is an angel. And all its cohorts that fell with it are angels. They still angels. They still created at a greater level than we are. But the laws that Allah has remade for them in regards to us is that those of us that are of the righteous, and the righteous is not, I'm not talking about the people, the righteous is Allah itself. Those of us that are of the righteous and seek to truly be of the righteous under its protection and guidance, it put the devil beneath our feet and let us trample upon it and all its cohorts as to where they cannot get above us and take us off. And they fall into the category where Allah has said that the disbelievers cannot deceive the believers. They are a part of the disbelievers, that faction of disbelievers, man. And people have a tendency to forget that these demons are greater than us in power. You know, power of the mind. You know, and then they are hidden from us. You know, so what do we have to go on? We only have Allah's word to go on. And if we follow that word, then it manifests its actions and essence of things, in movement in time. And let us see that its word is true. And if we don't give ourselves time to grab hold of that word and live in faith, in the faith of its being, in the spirit of its faith, then we will not understand the truth and the mechanisms of truth and how it works. You know, we'll still run around here saying, man, that don't work. That it don't work because you never gave it a chance to work. It's like going to a hospital, man, needing an operation. As soon as you see the needle, you jump up out of bed and jump out the window. You know what I mean? Run down the street. They say, our hospital don't work, it ain't no good. How do you know? You know? But this is what we as a people do, and we need to stop doing it. We need to give the Lord, you know, give ourselves, not the Lord, but give ourselves a chance. Give ourselves the time. You know, give you know, favor to our own souls, and trust what it says to see why it keeps bringing these same messages over eons of time. Why it keeps sending its messages with the same message over and over and over in different languages, in different places, to different people. The same message. Why? You know, and stop listening to these scientists and these theologians and these philosophers and all these so-called scholars, man, who make up their own words through the machinations of the devil so that they can have power over you. Stop listening to that stuff. You know, people need to stop trusting somebody else to read for them. They need to learn to read for themselves, and if they can't read for themselves, at least listen to what's being read, and don't just take verbatim somebody else's understanding.
You know, one of the things I usually manifest, you know, in this time of being off, coming to the words what I use it with the right mindset and the proper protocol, and I dealing with I use the word. When people say things, for example, like Muslims say this phrase a lot: I seek refuge in Isa or Allah from Satan the devil. One thing I either showing now out of his mercy, you know, as a sign for me, you don't want just the words itself, because you have to have an action and a being with that. So when you seek refuge in Isa for real, you got to actually be doing something to move towards Isa, proving his refuge and being in it. And then Allah starts showing you his signs in his creation to say, wow, Allah, you have protected me in this way or that way. And it shows itself, because Allah said, try in his word. One thing the message always told us, that try Isa in his word. Isa's word never fail. But because we don't try Isa's word in the proper way, in the right way, with the right kind of mindset, then when Isa don't do a thing that you desire to be done, you say, oh, this word don't work.
Yeah.
But what does work?
But you know, Idris, one of the problems is that when people say things like that, what we call, from the back in the day, say that's plastic. That's a plastic dude there, Mr. Plastic Man. You could see right through him and you could break him. He ain't even glass. You know what I'm saying? But it's like Allah said, if there's a company of two, I am the third.
Right.
So when you go thinking you are alone, to say I seek refuge in Allah, and Allah is right there looking at you, listening to you, feeling you, knowing that you just throwing out words and not acknowledging its presence.
Right.
I will be afraid to say, oh Allah, I seek refuge with you, and then act as though it's not right there. Like I done threw it up into the air. You know, Allah is right there. We have to go in the mindset that Allah is right there. And when you speak it to it, you speak it to it. And get away from what those spooky behind brothers and sisters be leading you to think that Allah is off somewhere upon its throne. Do you know what the word throne mean? Throne is not just a chair.
Right.
Throne is a sovereignty of power.
Right.
Throne is a dominion. And Allah's throne outreaches all creation. It says that. It outreaches all creation. So its throne is its power. Its power is life.
Yes.
Its power is the source that generates life. So its throne is everywhere, and you're always before its throne. You think you got to go somewhere to get to Allah? That's what the Christians have fooled you to believe.
Right.
You got to go somewhere to get to Allah.
Yes.
When Prophet Muhammad made his spiritual ascension and when Jesus was taken up, they wasn't taken up so much to Allah.
Right.
They was taken up to a place in heaven for them to recognize Allah's presence there and Allah's presence here.
You know, I was, you know, how thoughts come through your head. you know, a lot of people go out and they try to convert people over to their religion. You know, Jehovah's Witnesses come to your door. You know, Christian.
Aggravating you, starting trouble, doing all kind of things, being troublemakers. And Allah said they claim to be peacemakers, but they are only troublemakers, knocking on your door, got people hiding from them, knowing that they don't want to be bothered. You tell them, please don't come and knock on my door no more. And here they come in the name of Jehovah, you know, which they don't even understand, knocking on your door, starting trouble, and ask you crazy questions. Do you think that the world could exist without God? And they ain't even trying to get you to the Lord L.
No.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sorry for catching that conniption fit, but I'd like to punch one of them in the face sometimes.
Okay, homie. And you know, people think it's a big deal if they could get you to come to church and what have you, or the Muslims would get you to the masjid and everything. But you know, Allah says something so beautiful in Quran, too. You know, and I look at A.H.A.D, the community of A.H.A.D, you know, and Allah said, to you be your way and to be me be my way, you know. And I've talked to people over the years, and they'll ask me about Islam and how long I've been practicing and why I practice this way. Then I have some people that just ask it so they can start an argument.
Yeah.
And
Probably Jehovah's Witness, undercover Jehovah's Witness, Christian.
I ask Allah when the questions start coming, you know, to guide me, you know, to give whatever it is that I should give and just leave it. And I leave it because what people have to realize, everybody was born with a purpose. Everybody was given a path, okay, and that path is what you're gonna walk on, and you can't make a believer. You understand? You can't make a believer, not one that will believe in A.H.A.D. A.H.A.D has to choose that individual to believe in it, you know. And I used to be concerned over the years about us getting A.H.A.D word out, because that's a commandment that A.H.A.D sent down on us. A.H.A.D said get its word out, but it never told us to pull people in. It said get the word out, you know. And I know there's some people that are under the A.H.A.D banner are not sincere enough with themselves to get A.H.A.D word out. You understand? Because if A.H.A.D puts someone there to take hold of it, A.H.A.D going to cause you to speak whatever that person needs to hear, and that's going to be the beginning and the end of it. You know what I'm saying? And I learned that, you know, it's wisdom into leaving people alone.
You know, you called me up the other day and told me to open up the Holy Quran to a certain chapter. And in my reading it, it has said that, you know, people out of envy, after you teach them or guide them or show them the way, they would want to turn and take you out of the way to their way or some other way, you know? And I said that in regards to that, Allah, you know, has said to tell them, to you be your way, to me be mine. But these people, what you talking about, what you just referred to, is those plastic people I'm talking about. They have very little spirit of faith, if any. Spirit comes from Allah and faith comes from Allah. That is of its essence. That is of its attributes. And you don't beg it for those things, how you gonna get it? If it don't give it to you, how you gonna get it? You know, you got people walking around trying to make spirit on their own power, the power of their mind. That's an illusion. They live by illusions. And then they think, well, I'm not going to help Holy Apostle Dean. I'm going to stand back, but whenever they call for this to go have fun, I'm going to be there. I'm going to give, let me see, I'm not going to give 10% of my tidings. I'm going to give 1% and act as though I don't have anything else. You know, not realizing that in all the things Allah called us to, and this includes all you people out there in the world who enjoys this program, Allah has called you too. A.H.A.D, the Lord El, Amen. Christ is calling you to, have called you to, and you sit back and you don't acknowledge that, but you want to take the goodies in, you know. Allah is, the Lord is doing this for our benefit. it don't need any of us. And it's not hurting for any of us. It has no feelings about that. You know? Yes. When we talk about the Lord being angry, no. It don't feel emotions in that manner. When we talk about the Lord being angry, we talking about the Lord being at odds with us. Right. And we look at it as anger because we know what it make us feel. You know? We talking about it showing its awesomeness, and we call that anger. It must be angry because it scared the hell out of me. You know, it reminds me of the time when I asked the Lord and I was begging when I first came into the unity with the enlightenment, the Christ enlightenment. I said, how are you? What are you? Where are you? When are you? When you got here? I want to know. You got the answer to everything. I want to know. I was like excited. And when it put me in the void of life, where nothing exists created, and made me feel completely, absolutely, totally, whatever you want to put it, infinitely alone, and I went in shock with no ground to stand on, no space to fly in, no nothing, just there. With nothing, no sound, no nothing else that even had a whisper of existence. I freaked out and thought it was angry with me because I was asking so many damn questions all at the same time. And when I came back, I was, please, I ain't gonna ask no more questions, please, please, please. And I thought it was angry with me. And it gave me the clearest answer I could possibly receive. And I was so freaked out, in this little brain of mine, it took 8 solid years before my mind could settle on the answer. 8 solid years. And I found that amazing. 8 solid years I walked around trembling in fear of Allah. After my enlightenment, thinking, don't ask the wrong questions. Don't ask nothing, just do as it say do. And one day I'm sitting down while some brothers are sitting around had given dawah, and it hit me, and they thought I was crazy. I said, that's it. What? Allah. It exists alone. And they were like, yeah, so? I'm like, no, you don't understand. See, I know where they was at because I had been there. Allah exists alone. Yeah, so what? Allah exists alone. And you don't know what alone is.
You experienced.
Yes.
Now
you don't know.
Right.
And they said, well, what are you talking? I said, I asked Allah a question back in 1979. They looked at me.
1985 now. 1986. Oh,
86, 87. I was like, I asked Allah a question back in 1979, and I just got the answer.
Yeah.
No, I had got the answer. The answer got me. The answer got me so tight. It had just let me loose.
As James Brown said, I feel like busting loose.
You know, but the thing about it is, see, people don't know. You got people, I have had people want to run and sit in my seat thinking they going to be the messenger. They going to be the prophet. Oh, he ain't nothing. He don't know nothing. I got more knowledge than him. I got a library. This nigga ain't got no library. He don't know what this mean and that mean. He don't speak A.H.A.D. And, you know, and all this old crazy stuff. They don't know, man. Allah give them an answer and they be stuck like me for 50 years. Freaked out. Because Allah is just that awesome.
People misconstrue information for knowledge. Experience.
Yep. Knowledge is.
Yeah, they mistake information for knowledge. And,
you can read the words of Allah till it breasts you of His understanding.
Right.
It's just words and words and words.
Yeah.
People don't know the reality of Allah. It's only, like I said, Allah is out of His mercy now opening these things up of His understanding. Can't play with it.
No.
You got to come right with it. You know, you got to be ready to lose of everything to truly gain of it. It ain't you, because you ain't gaining you.
You know.
When you gain you, you a fool.
I think about what you say, and I think about, like when I talked about, the first thing I talked about, how the stars is falling and so many catastrophes is coming down. And I think about so many people I know associated with me over the past 30 years, how they are coming down too in this year. So many of them, man, is coming down because they have refused to listen to these words, to surrender to these words. You know, and I was thinking about a brother, his whole family. He turned his whole family. It wasn't enough for him to just war against me. He gonna go back home to mama, get mama and his sister and his aunt and cousins, other people warring against me and his falsehood behind his dismay. And now they all laying up, headed straight for death, all together. You know, and I'm like, are they reading the writing on the walls? You know, are they seeing themselves? And I begged him not to do it. So don't involve your people with this, man. You know, let it be just you. You want to take me out? Take me out, if you can. But don't involve your family. And people, when you come to them mercifully, they think you trying to hide something. Yeah, he don't want me to involve my family because he knew we'll get them together. You ain't getting me. If the government ain't got me, how you gonna get me? And they want to get me more than anybody. The jinn that sit on top of them. Because they know who I am and what I am. You know? For real. On the real side. But it's a sad day, man. Things are coming down. Revelation must be. The Muslims must be made to be seen as liars, to say that there's no messenger to come anymore. That like what Muhammad brought was the end. And like that was the perfect book. When Allah talked about the perfect book is up in heaven. And those things are leaves from the perfect book. You know what I mean? Every book that Allah sent down is the perfect book. Its book. It is the perfect. You know? But the perfect book is of the essence of Allah itself in the heaven, beneath the throne, the seated throne of Allah. You know, and Allah referred to that book when Muhammad talked to the Jews of his time to tell them, no, that's the perfect book, and there is no doubt. You know, it's for those who believe in Allah and the unseen. And spend out of what they have that the angels had, that Allah and His angels have provided for them. Meaning spend out of their own lives. Spend themselves. You know, and they misguide us, misconstrue us, and have us thinking that this book that is the criterion of its own self. Come on.
You know.
When Allah says clearly, for that which came before it and that which is yet to come. But we want to pick and choose what we want to believe. Oh, man, the crowd is saying this, so, you know, we going to go with this here. You damn fools, Allah took our whole nations of people. You going down, just like the people of Noah, just like Pharaoh's people, just like many other people. Allah said there are many are the generations we have destroyed before you. Those who rejected it, thinking that they had accepted it because they followed the way of the devil. You know? And we have to be careful. We have to be mindful of that, because death is no escape for you. That's the thing. If I could die and get away from Allah, I might say, well, the hell with you. I'm going to do what I want to do, and I'm getting out of here. And if I could get away from it and let myself get killed or die, then I escape. But death is no escape for you. Allah is the Lord, and it is the good of both worlds. It is the power of both worlds. It is the reality of all worlds. It is the real of the ities. The light of the worlds.
Beyond anything that we can begin to imagine, beyond anything.
Man, Allah is so beautiful and so awesome, man. It's just that, you know, we could go on and on and on and on with Allah's wisdom, man, as long as it gives it to us and put it out there for the people to grab hold of. But see, people have a tendency to only change when they're forced to change. They'll take all this information in and use it and get rewards for it, and they'll believe that this is the goal of their life. I got it. I'm getting it from this brother. I don't need to do nothing else. Just use this. No, Allah wants you to bring yourself back to it. You know? And I see that
Lord, you're describing the throne and the sovereignty of A.H.A.D, Allah being everywhere, which is inclusive of your heart. So those people that truly want to go to A.H.A.D, go sincerely, for real. Sincere.
Yeah.
And that closes, I guess, such a beautiful show. Thank you, Lord.
Praise to A.H.A.D.
Glad to have you back.
Welcome back, brother.
Back to
Holy Queen Mother. You can reach, again, any questions, anything, write to us.
Who of you want to do things right? To keep up with keeping your lives tight. Tight as in being right with the truth of true insight. Who of you want to do things right? Who of you want